In a few moments, you will be given the opportunity, and I would like to say it's not a have to, but a want to. You will be given the opportunity, that is, invited to renew your baptism. If in doubt as to how it works, you will see the choir come first. But basically, as they do, you will come before myself and Jim face to face. We will touch the water with our thumbs, and upon your forehead, make the sign of the cross, and say to you personally, straightforwardly, remember your baptism and be thankful. Now again, this is something that you do not have to do. Religion is in its truest form or core, something you choose to do, you want to do. So I want you to be comfortable, whatever choice you make. I discovered this renewal of baptism litany late in my ministry, and ever since I've found it to be a meaningful, powerful opportunity to renew our baptism. And in many cases, I've had people to come forward and say they've never been baptized and would like to be baptized. So if you do choose to partake today, as simple as it may sound and seem, I trust and believe that it can be, as with the Old Testament reading, the last words, the first day. The first day of the rest of your life. The first day of the rest of our lives. Of Genesis, as with that first Old Testament book. Today is the opportunity wherein we gather that we might be born again, that we might begin again, that we might establish a new beginning. Now, I'd like for us to think about Jesus' baptism for just a moment. It is a dramatic thing, as you know. He rises up out of the water. We're told that the heavens tear apart and he sees God's presence descending upon him like a dove. And then there is, you know this part, there is a voice. It is, as far as Jesus is concerned, it is God's voice speaking where everyone can hear, but speaking directly to him and saying, and you know these words too, right? This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. To put it in more common vernacular, you are my Son. I love you, and I am so proud of you. Now, can you imagine a child not living with those words? What child doesn't need and long to hear those words said to them from not only their father, but their mother or their guardians? I love you. You are my child. I am proud of you. And what life-changing words for Jesus. This day, truth, was the first day of the rest of his life. And think about it, because of what happened here, because of the affirmation unashamedly, publicly, by his Father of him as his Son, proud to have him, pleased to know him, and loved him. Because of that, Jesus was able to go on and do all the stupendous and wonderful things that he did, from endure temptation, from the water to wine, even walk on water, and walk through, literally, the valley of the shadow of death. Now, I really believe that if God had not affirmed his Son in this way, the story might not have turned out the same. But because his Father did affirm him, did publicly profess his love for him, his pride in him, the honor of saying to him, you are my Son, Jesus was able to live his life in a new way, with every day being the first day. Now, to consider his baptism is always to think about our own. I don't know how many times you were baptized, and I'm saying that because I was christened, when we call it christening, and then I was sprinkled in about the 5th or 6th grade, and then I decided that wasn't enough as a young adult and was immersed. Now, I don't know if you were sprinkled, immersed, or poured. I don't know if it was in a river or a lake, a pool, or before a font, or with a pitcher. I don't know if the heavens opened when you were baptized and you saw the presence of God descending upon you. I don't know if you were a child or just a youth or a young adult. I don't know if you heard voices like Jesus, but I do know this. that in most all, if not all of those cases, that when you were baptized, as with I, there was a significance to that moment that you will never forget. And as you felt the water, you felt something else. And as you heard the words, you heard someone else speaking. Something happened in your life, and for you too, it became the first day of the rest of your life. And I think you heard that day. I hope you heard that day. And I hope you hear it again today. That is, I hope that you, I hope that I hope we hear God affirm us again today as we renew our baptism. I hope we hear His voice speak to us unashamedly and personally and say, "You are my son. You are my daughter. I love you. I am so proud of you." See, I don't think I would have understood this as much as a young man, but now as a father and as a grandfather, I understand that this is all of life. This is in this baptism, in this identification, in this affirmation. This is everything I need for strength. This is everything. This is a new beginning. This is the first day of the rest of our lives. Today. And just as Jesus went forth from that affirmation from His Father into the life that He lived successfully upon this earth till the day He died, so you and I can leave this place today with this new life, and we too, like Him, can rise to every occasion because we know our Father loves us. We know that we are His sons and daughters. We know that He takes pleasure in us. How many of you have either seen or read the book, novel, The Help? Quite a few of you. Either you don't raise your hands very high or my eyes are not very good. And of course you remember Aibileen, who was not only the maid, but the nanny, a little maid, 2 to 5 years old in the book. Do you remember those poignant moments, and there are many, but when Aibileen, in good times and bad, would affirm the little blonde Goldilocks maid? And she would say to her, "You is kind, you is smart, and you is important." Now I hear God today saying to all of His children that are gathered here in this house, you are kind, you are smart, and you are important. It seems to me that if you never forget that, if you carry that with you in your mind and heart, the way it feels when you think it, if you carry it, you will too, like Jesus, perform miracles. Yes, walk on water. Do things you never thought possible. But because you know who you are, because you know your roots, because you know who loves you, even in times of trial and tribulation, you will always rise up. You know why? Because you are kind, you are smart, and you are important. You are my son. You are my daughter. I love you. I am so proud of you. Today is the first day of the rest of our lives. Father in heaven, thank you for reminding us who we are. Jim?